America.
Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. My name is Jeff Pettis, and thank you for watching as always. So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about the city council meeting that was yesterday, the 19th, Tuesday. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I mostly want to talk about, I think it was a new business item number 2, which was the city council was seeking permission from the council by vote to add a ballot measure to the November ballot, which essentially would modify, amend, change Measure Y. And what it would be doing would be allowing for the rezoning of, don't quote me on the exact numbers, but there's a number of corridors. There's a picture here that you can see which areas they're talking about. They're seeking the measure will amend Measure Y, so the city council will be able to make changes to certain parts of the city, mostly for affordable housing, some other things without approval from the citizenry, as stated in Measure Y. And what I'm not going to do is this isn't a discussion on, there's a lot of issues with Measure Y, for and against. There's good evidence and reasons that there does need to be some changes to Measure Y. That could be debated. We're not going to debate that here. What the issue is the proposed amendments through this ballot measure would undo years of planning that was underway prior to this regime that took place through the Planning Commission and had much citizen involvement, public hearings, town halls, and whatnot. This would totally make all that go away. And so the main thing that I'm going to leave the Planning Commission details. There are people that are much smarter than I am on those things, Rob Dixon, John Zick. I'll leave the planning discussion up to them. Getting into the weeds on some of the code numbers and amendments, I'll leave that up to Sandy Guinness. For this discussion, what I do want to talk about is transparency within City Council and City Hall in general. This particular issue is specifically the council meeting last night confirmed to me that we have major issues when it comes to transparency in our government in Costa Mesa at the City Council and Mayor level. Starting with this particular issue last night, this came about from a study session just a week ago, and this was decided on, and they wanted to vote on it tonight. The actual vote didn't take place. They decided to table it until, I want to say, August 10th. Don't quote me on that, but a future council meeting, which is good, so they can swing around and think about it. But the point is that there is growing evidence, and it's actually it's a certainty in my mind that the city council has issues with transparency. And this issue is just one. So what I wanted to say is I've spent the last 2 years since I ran for council in 2020 studying the process with city council, how it works, what motivates them, what makes them tick, how they vote, why they vote. Just really sitting back and watching, attending the meetings either in person or via the YouTube's live stream. And I've really come to get, in my view, you have 6 council members that are doing basically whatever they want because they know that the citizens basically are not paying attention, who wants to sit through these long council meetings, go through these hundreds and hundreds of pages of staff reports. They know 99% of the citizens aren't going to do that. So they're basically governing the way they want to. And other examples, I'm not just going to use this one example, and there's lack of transparency. They're trying to push this thing through at the last second. This needed to be debated. It needed to be brought to the citizens. It needed to be discussed. All that. Other issues, I'll take other examples would include Mayor Stevens, the way he was appointed to mayor. Most people thought that a special election was in order when Katrina Foley vacated to take her district supervisor seat. He was just at kind of the last minute, behind closed doors. They made a decision to appoint him. That was that. No other input, no other discussion. That's one other example. There's many. I think back when I was watching the redistricting taking place, they're having these they were having these secret meetings behind closed doors. They were on its face when they were putting the maps out. They made it sound like it was a transparent process, but there was many secret meetings taking place in the redistricting efforts. The Chuck Schumer letter, it was recently, maybe last or the one before that council meeting, where at 10:30 at night they put this letter forward on behalf of city council and the city to Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, advocating for gun control laws related to laws that we don't even have. Really, gun control had to do with private transfers. We can't do private transfers without going through a process here in California anyway. But they were virtue signaling a letter out to Congress, and there was no input from the city, and they were speaking on behalf of the city. One Metro West is another example. I know we've had a lot of public discussion on the issue, but there was I was very much involved with a petition that went out that 500 signatures in Costa Mesa speaking out against One Metro West. They shut that down, went behind closed doors. The final, I could go on and on, but the last night's meeting, there was this issue, which please stay till the end of the video because I'm going to insert a piece of the video so you can watch it. These issues with these talking points that were sent to Don Harper that he wasn't aware of. So what I'm trying to say is I've watched city council. They spend a lot of time on the smaller, fluffier issues, vector control, parking, some important stuff like these big projects for parks and city renovation. They do a lot of talking PowerPoints. They glad hand each other and congratulate each other. Spend a lot of time in the council when it's time for the council to give their comments on issues that are important, but they're not issues that are controversial. Very rarely. But when it comes to the big important stuff that really do matter to the city, that might have a tinge of controversy, or there might be more than a few people that disagree or could disagree with him, they do everything they can to rush those through, hide them, and not use transparency. And what that does for me is it reduces the confidence that I have as a citizen in this city council to be acting on behalf of me as a citizen. We're now in districts. Each of our council persons should be representing the interests of his district. I know the decisions have to be made. It can't always be exactly how we'd want, but you would think that would be the overriding motivation for legislation coming out of the districts. And in looking at trends other than lack of transparency, it's very, very clear to me. One of the issues that we're currently working on, and will be working on, by the way, is looking at campaign donations 2020, 2018. We helped Don Harper come up with the $165,000 number last for that. It was the total number that 6 out of the 7 council people, and actually Foley's in there too, that received from unions, a lot of different unions, special interest groups. All that money that went to the different council candidates and their campaigns. Those are the issues that they vote on, and you can, to the dollar, each one of these folks votes according to the interest of that particular campaign donor, whether it be a union, builder, individual donor. To me, this is an issue, and this is not even from a partisan viewpoint. It's because there's imbalance. We have 6 against 1. Let's just be honest. So they do whatever they want. Let Don Harper. They humor him and let him talk. But he's up there all alone, and they're doing whatever they want. So the important thing is we need to have accountability in council, and the only way to do that is to try to get the word out there, which we're currently underway, and try to replace some of these candidates. Not saying that we need to shoot for a super conservative majority where I wouldn't like it on the other way either. I like balance. So if we need 2-3 more candidates and a mayor that actually cares about the city and not getting reelected, or actually even getting elected in the first place, if we had a balance, with balance comes reasoned debate. With reasoned debate comes compromise. With compromise comes legislation for the people. And we are seeing none of that at this point. And that is what I am doing this for. This is why I will run in 2024, and this is what I'm going to do going through this next election to help candidates get in there. So to give you a video or an example that you can see, I want you to go ahead and take a peek at this piece of video. Just to give you the heads up on it, it was Don Harper had discovered in his email, and he had almost forgot to talk about it, talking points. I'm pretty sure they were inadvertently given to him, telling him and them and the council and the mayor how to respond to questions on the issue that we're talking about regarding this ballot measure. Basically, how to answer to get by the question, to answer the question in a way that would be good for the council. And Don Harper said he had never seen anything like that before. To me, I don't know. There's Brown Act issues there. Take a look and tell me what you think.
Prior to this meeting, I received an email that went to all the council members that included talking points supporting this measure. And I just wonder who prepared those talking points. They had techniques to blocking, bridging, and answering tough questions. Answer the question briefly, transition with "let me tell you about," and then here's our move to the message. Who created that document?
Mr. Mayor, can I respond?
I have a copy of it here when I came to the meeting, and I got an email about an hour before the meeting.
Our PIO has been working with a consultant that works with us on talking points for key initiatives that we work on in the city, and they work together on putting together those talking points.
So a consultant that was hired
to work with our PIO.
To work with, which is the PIO?
Tony.
Public Information.
Dodaro
Tony.
is our
Yeah, I know Tony.
PIO. I believe he may have sent that email.
I've never gotten this before an item's voted on to promote an item. And almost every one of the talking points I've kind of heard already here through a series of questions. I just never seen that done at council before. I'm curious why. Is this different because it's a ballot measure? This seems, I'll be frank with you, it seems, I'm always confused by the Brown Act, but it seems confusing, or it seems inappropriate, frankly, for an issue we've not voted on to give all the council members the same talking points.
Well, you weren't at the study session.
I'm not looking
so
for an
we thought
answer
it would be
from you.
helpful for you.
I'm not looking for an answer from you, Andrew Marr.
From my perspective, it's fairly typical that when we're working on an item such as this, that we would prepare the council with talking points as they work with the community. And so our PIO provides talking points very frequently to our city manager, to our mayor, to
So I've just never, as a council member,
folks.
never received one, and never received any document like this before in all the time I've been here. That's why so I guess it's typical, but I've just never gotten one. Is that correct?
Thanks for watching. Be kind to yourself. Be good to each other. Together we can get it done. And bye for now.